His breath hovered over me like a storm waiting to crash, his lips only inches from mine, and my body, aching, trembling, already knew surrender. The night outside was quiet, but inside, I felt the chaos building, his hand moving up my thigh like it had claimed ownership of me long before tonight. I should have resisted. I should have told him that I was someone's wife, a woman tied to a home that bore pictures on the wall and promises etched into vows. But when his fingers traced that forbidden line, splitting me open with a touch that felt both miraculous and painful, all reason scattered. "Don't," I whispered. But my body betrayed me. My hips leaned forward. My lips quivered, waiting for his. Before I dive any deeper into this confession, let me pause right here. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and share this video, because stories like mine, raw, forbidden, and anonymous, deserve to be heard. Now, let me take you back to how it all began. I wasn't looking for him. In fact, I was avoiding exactly this kind of temptation. My marriage wasn't perfect, but it wasn't broken either. My husband worked hard, gave me comfort, and in the eyes of others, I had everything a woman could want. But then came Michael. He wasn't supposed to be anything more than a business associate. A meeting over coffee, a handshake across a table, numbers and presentations. Yet his eyes lingered too long, and his smile made my insides melt in ways that felt dangerous. The first time his hand brushed mine, I told myself it was accidental. But accidents don't make your heart race. Accidents don't leave you replaying a single touch all night long in bed, while your husband snores softly beside you. By the third meeting, he leaned in close enough that I could feel his breath against my ear as he said, "You deserve more." I should have stood up. I should have walked away. But instead, I asked softly, "More of what?" And that was the beginning of my Red Sea splitting. Even now, as I write this, I can still taste the moment on my tongue. The first kiss, hungry, furious, and tender all at once, felt like both creation and destruction. His lips devoured me while my mind screamed wrong, wrong, wrong. But my body whispered stay, stay, stay. The ache he unleashed in me wasn't just physical. It was spiritual, emotional, primal. Every time he touched me, I felt like I was being broken open and rebuilt all over again. And yes, it hurt. Not just the guilt that clawed at me in the quiet hours. Not just the fear of being caught. But the way he touched me, deep, unrelenting, with a vigor that felt both miraculous and destructive. Like he was Moses, and I was the sea, and with every thrust, every kiss, every push, he split me wide into two. And that's where the story truly begins. Kiss mark fire somewhere in the middle of this story, I'll remind you again. Because you don't want to miss how far this went. So stay with me, and The first time should have been the last. That's what I told myself when I left her apartment, shirt half buttoned, my scent mixed with hers still clinging to my skin. But temptation doesn't knock once, it lingers, it whispers, it claws at the corners of your thoughts until you can't breathe without tasting it again. She was everywhere after that night. In the silence of my mornings, I heard her moans. In the middle of crowded meetings, I remembered the way her body arched under mine. Guilt should have weighed me down, but instead, it only sharpened the craving. I wanted her, not just her body, but the danger that came with her. We didn't text much, never called unless the coast was clear. She was careful. Married women always are. But then came the message that changed everything. Same hotel. Room 509. Tomorrow night. 8 p.m. No name. No emojis. Just that. My pulse raced like a teenager sneaking out for the first time. The next night, I walked through the hotel lobby with a calm face and a storm inside me. My heart pounded against my chest as the elevator doors slid shut. Room 509. The hallway smelled of expensive carpet and forbidden sins. My knuckles hesitated against the door, but before I could knock, it opened. She stood there. Hair loose, lips bitten raw as though she had been waiting, trembling. Her silk robe fell just enough to tease, not enough to give. Her eyes said everything her lips couldn't: need, fear, and a hunger that matched mine. "You came," she whispered, pulling me inside. I didn't answer. I kissed her. Hard. Desperate. The kind of kiss that ignores consequences and feeds on fire. Every meeting after that became our ritual. Hotel rooms, stolen weekends, sudden business trips that were really nothing but excuses to drown in each other. Her lies became smoother, my alibis sharper. She'd tell him she was meeting friends. I'd tell mine I was working late. We were two actors in a dangerous play, reciting lines with perfect deceit. But behind the closed doors, we were raw, honest, undone. She'd trace my scars with her fingertips and whisper, "You make me feel alive again." And I, God help me, I believed her. The more I had her, the more I wanted. It wasn't just lust anymore, it was addiction. Her laugh became my drug, her scent my escape, her touch my confession. Nights blurred into mornings, sheets stained with secrets we could never wash away. Yet, for all the fire, there was always the sting, the knowledge that I wasn't hers, not truly. That no matter how many times I split her Red Sea, she'd return to the man who wore the ring. And still, I went back. Again. And again. Because the hurt was miraculous, and the miracle was worth the hurt. I used to think we were untouchable. As long as we kept the doors locked, the lights dim, and our lies rehearsed, the world would never know. But every affair has a shadow, and ours was starting to stretch longer than either of us could control. It began with her slip. She called me late one evening, voice shaky, whispering like the walls in her house had ears. "He asked me why I smell different," she said. I froze. "And what did you tell him?" "That it was just a new perfume," she laughed nervously. But her laugh didn't reach me. The silence that followed was heavy. For the first time, the danger felt closer than the pleasure. Still, the next night, I was back in her arms. Our bodies moved with the same hunger, the same miracle and hurt, but something had changed. Her kisses were rushed, her eyes darting toward the window as though every shadow carried his name. Yet even in that fear, her need for me was undeniable. She clung harder, pulled deeper, whispered rough confessions against my ear. "I can't stop. You're my sin, but you're also my salvation." I wanted to believe that. I wanted to think I was more than borrowed time. But the truth burned beneath every touch. We were stealing moments, carving passion out of lies, and sooner or later, someone would bleed. Our rendezvous became reckless. Lunch breaks that stretched too long, hotel bills paid in cash, secret messages that I prayed no one else would read. I should have slowed down, but lust has no brakes. Every time she spread open for me, I forgot about the risk. Every time she whispered my name in a trembling moan, I convinced myself we could survive this. But cracks don't stay small. One evening, while she was in the bathroom, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. The name on the screen froze me, her husband. I didn't touch it, but my chest tightened as the ringtone cut through the air like a blade. She returned, eyes wide, robe clutched tight. She didn't answer the call. Instead, she shut the phone off completely and pressed her lips against mine with a desperation that tasted like fear. That night, she cried against my chest after the passion, whispering over and over, "Promise me you won't leave." I held her, even as the weight of what we were doing pressed against my conscience like a loaded gun. The cracks were growing. The glass was breaking. But I couldn't let go, not yet. Not while the hurt still felt miraculous. By now, we weren't careful anymore. Lust had made us reckless. Her texts came at odd hours, her voice notes dripping with need and panic all at once. I told him I was visiting my sister, but I'll be with you tonight. Don't make me wait. I should have told her to slow down, to stop tempting fate. But the truth? I craved the danger just as much as her body. It made every touch electric, every kiss more forbidden, every thrust into her feel like a rebellion against the world. We chose riskier places now. A quick escape in my car on a rainy night. A corner suite in a hotel too close to her neighborhood. Even the bathroom of a friend's party once, her moans muffled into my shoulder while laughter floated just outside the door. But danger leaves traces. And traces turn into evidence. One evening, after hours of tearing each other apart in a dim hotel room, she lay flat on the bed, hair messy, lipstick smudged across my chest. Her phone rang again. This time, she didn't move to silence it. She just stared at the glowing name on the screen. "Don't answer," I whispered, pulling her back into me. Her eyes met mine, wide and wet. "He's starting to ask questions, and I can't lie much longer." I kissed her to quiet the truth, but inside I knew, we were running on borrowed time. That night, our passion was different. Desperate. Every touch felt like goodbye and hello at once. She clawed at my back, pulled me deeper, whispered words that shook me. "If this ends, I'll break. Don't let it end." I wanted to promise her forever, but forever doesn't belong to people like us. We only own the moment. The stolen, burning, miraculous moment that hurts more than it heals. Still, as I held her trembling body against mine, I realized something terrifying. This wasn't just lust anymore. It was love. Twisted, dangerous, forbidden love. And love, unlike lust, always demands a price. We always thought we could outrun the truth. That if we kissed hard enough, if we clung tight enough, the world would stay blind. But truth has a way of slipping through locked doors and drawn curtains. It happened on a Thursday night. She had told him she was meeting a friend for dinner. I booked the usual room, 509, our temple of sin. The moment she walked in, everything felt familiar, the silk robe, the hungry kiss, the miracle and the hurt. But this time, the air was different. She was restless, eyes darting, breath uneven. "What's wrong?" I asked, brushing her cheek. Her lips trembled. "He followed me once last week. I lied my way out of it, but I think he knows." The words stabbed deeper than any blade. My pulse raced. For the first time, I saw the cage we had built, one made not of sheets and moans, but of lies and risks. Still, we couldn't stop. Not that night. Our bodies clashed like thunder, every movement desperate, almost violent, as if we were trying to burn the fear out of each other. She cried into my shoulder as I moved inside her, whispering, "Don't let me go, don't let me go." But when it ended, silence swallowed us. She lay against my chest, but her tears didn't stop. "What if he finds out?" she asked. I had no answer. A knock shattered the silence. Loud. Demanding. The kind of knock that freezes the blood in your veins. We looked at each other, terror painted on our faces. Another knock. Then a voice. His voice. "Open the door." She gasped, covering her mouth, shaking. My chest pounded like a drum. The miracle had split wide open. The hurt was here. I don't remember how long we sat frozen, the room holding its breath with us. But I knew one thing, our secret affair was no longer ours. The Red Sea we split had come crashing back, ready to drown us both. And as I held her trembling hand in the dark, I realized. Miracles don't last. They hurt, and in the end, they break. The knock came again. Louder. Sharper. Like a hammer against my chest. For weeks, maybe months, we had lived inside a miracle, a reckless, lustful world carved out of lies, sheets, and stolen hours. But that door, that voice, was reality breaking in. Open the damn door. It was him. Her husband. Her body stiffened, her fingers digging into my arm until her nails left crescents on my skin. Tears brimmed in her eyes, sliding down her cheeks without permission. She looked at me, wild and cornered, and whispered, "What do we do?" My throat was dry. My instinct screamed to run, to escape out the fire exit, down the hallway, disappear into the night like a ghost. But I wasn't a ghost. I was flesh, sin, betrayal. And so was she. She pulled on her robe, trembling so hard I could hear her bones rattle. Her wedding ring gleamed under the lamp, the same ring that had never stopped her from letting me inside her, from letting me split her world into pain and ecstasy. The knock turned into pounding. "I know you're in there." Her lips pressed against mine suddenly, frantic and broken. "If he sees you, he'll kill us both." Her words cut me. But I kissed her back anyway, like it was the last kiss I'd ever taste. And maybe it was. She moved quickly then, pushing me toward the balcony. "Go. Please. If he finds you here, everything is over." I looked at her, hair tangled, lips swollen, robe clutched around a body I knew too well. Everything in me wanted to stay, to face the storm, to claim her as mine in front of the world. But deep down, I knew I was never hers to claim, nor she mine. We belonged to the secrecy, not the daylight. Another slam against the door rattled the walls. I slipped out onto the balcony, the night air cold against my sweat-soaked skin. My heart hammered as I climbed down to the floor below, every step a mix of fear and heartbreak. From the alley, I looked up just once. The curtains shifted, her silhouette framed in the glow. Then darkness. For days, I heard nothing. No calls, no messages, no texts at odd hours. Silence. Silence heavier than guilt. I told myself she had chosen him, chosen her safety over our chaos. Maybe it was better that way. But nights were cruel. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her, spread beneath me, whispering that I made her feel alive, begging me not to let go. A week later, I found her message. A single line, sent at 3 a.m. "I can't do this anymore. I'll always love the hurt we shared, but the miracle is over." I read it over and over until the words burned into me. That was the end. No goodbyes, no closure. Just the ghost of our fire and the ashes of what we risked. Months have passed. I still walk past that hotel sometimes, staring up at the 5th floor. Room 509. The place where I touched heaven and burned in hell at the same time. People say love heals. They're wrong. Some love destroys. Some love tears your world in half and leaves you bleeding in the middle. That's what we